Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So you may have seen my shooting star creation and the colours and the colour palette that I used within that. So I'm basically using exactly the same colours, so a combination of purples, violets, gold. I also used a blue-green iridescent colour, and I'm going to create something just for fun using various tools like a balloon, a comb and my palette knife. So first of all, I'm just putting all those colours on the base because what I want to do is I want to create a mystical kind of creation, quite whimsical maybe. That's kind of what I've got in my head. Now, I am using Australian Floetrol mixed with white titanium to create some cells and some lacing on the base. So that's my first approach. I've laid the colours on the base of the canvas and I'm going to swipe all the way through and down. Now it's going to be something completely different. I suppose it could be very similar actually, thinking about it, to some of the underwater garden designs I've done where I've used a balloon dip and my palette knife to create swirls. But I just thought what I'd do is I would use exactly the same colours from Shooting Star and create a completely different piece to also just demonstrate that by using the same colour palette you can almost create something so opposite and so unique from one creation to another. Now what I would say is this may look a little bit messy, and believe me, I've tried to get some really good camera shots for you, but it really doesn't do it justice. So if you can, try and stick around until the end because I would love for you to see the up close wet version and then the up close dry version. There is so much detail in this piece that I can't show you or persuade you to even look at it as you go along now, but believe me, there are so many details and it's fascinating how you can use just a few tools like a balloon or a palette knife or a comb and create such fine detail within a piece of fluid art. Okay, so you'll see that I've kind of tilted a little bit as well. I didn't need the cells or the lacing to be in straight lines. I'm happy that they're a bit swervy, a bit curvy, and that's going to help create that mood and that movement on the base of the canvas before I start playing with all the different shapes on top. So as I start with the balloon dip, I kind of, at this point, really kind of test out how much paint is on that canvas. So you've seen right at the beginning that I do layer quite a lot of the paint, and I haven't really tilted any of that off. So as I'm creating on top, one thing that I really must be mindful of when I have finished the piece is how I'm going to help it dry without cracking. Now what I do, and many of you have asked me this about the drying of the canvas and the creation, I leave my canvases on stands so air can also get underneath and on top, and that really helps me consistently dry that creation. I leave it to stand for a couple of weeks, not just to dry so you can touch dry it, but it helps those paints cure as well. Now, as I create this piece throughout from start to finish, you'll see me stepping back and having a really good look. And what I'm doing is I'm almost looking at the overall composition. Yes, I want to create some really fine details throughout the piece because I want it to be really interesting. I want this piece to almost make somebody stop and really look at the detail, not just at the colours that may appear on the canvas itself, but some of those details, some of those lines, some of those cells, some of those blocks of colour, and some of the patterns that are created by pressing a balloon down. You'll see that I'm using a comb and a palette knife to add some more depth. There are sections of this canvas that didn't include some cells or lacing, which is great, but there are also others that I wanted to enhance a little bit. So I'm just going over some of that with the palette knife and some of the Australian Floetrol, which helps create the lacing and cells. And then what you'll see me do is I go over those bits again because I don't want that white colour to really stand out. I want it to all mix within itself. But that's what really helps create some of those details, and it also helps create layers within that piece. Not that it's so three-dimensional, but it will just help create different areas within one full piece that are quite interesting to the eye. Now, like many of you that paint and create fantastic pieces, and remember, we all do things in different styles, but the thing that I really love is the fun that we have along the way, and I also enjoy hearing what you see from a piece as well. And I think I can already hear some of you calling out already, stop, don't do any more, leave it, don't fiddle there, don't do this. You know what? I'm so guilty of keep fiddling or keep going until I'm really happy. But there's also that thing of when to stop, to step back and go, this is it. This is the piece, and this is done. So I do hear you. I do hear you. You're in my head. I'm in my own head as well, saying, shall I just do a little bit more? But you'll see that I have continued doing some balloon dips because I wanted to create those kind of circular patterns, those motions that you can see within the piece. I can't wait for you to see this up close. I will take you in soon for a close-up wet look. But also stay tuned because I really want you to see the dry version, because some of those details up close I am absolutely loving, and I'm loving the fact that I've been able to create those by just using a few tools of a palette knife, a balloon and a comb. So just finishing off the last couple of pieces, and I will take you in for a wet look version. Please let me know what you think. Have a look at the details created. I'm really happy with it. Not necessarily colours that I would have chosen to go together. I know the colour palette was enjoyed with Shooting Star, but you can see how different you can make a piece using the same colour palette, but just by using a different technique, and it completely changes the mood of that piece. And yeah, I'll let you make your own conclusion. Let me know what you think. So just as I finish off showing you some of those finer details of the wet version and the close-ups, we're going to move into some photos that I've taken of the dried version, and then I'll just play a very quick video clip of the dry version hanging up on my wall, and you can see the kind of lighting, and you'll see how all those colours have interlinked with each other, how the depth of the piece has been able to be achieved by using those different layers and those tools, and the detail has remained in place. And I really hope you appreciate and enjoy the piece. You don't have to love it, you don't have to like it, but it's been a real enjoyment for me just to kind of step outside my comfort zone, use a colour palette that I know that was welcomed, and completely change it up and create something a bit different. So let me leave you now by saying thank you so much for your support. I hope to see you again soon, and have a great week ahead. Take care everyone. Bye.